Hello everyone. Today we are talking about major security risks that hide in a plain sight of email. Those are email threats. According to the research, 91% of cyber attacks begin with an email. That's a staggering number, and it's highlight just how vulnerable we all are. Think about it. Over 4 billion people use email daily, and it's essential for the communications, but this is widespread use make it prime target for the cyber criminals. So email is often the weakest link in our security. Attackers use variety of tricks, phishing, malware, scams to try and get us click on malicious link or attachment. So what exactly an email attack? As this slide explains, email attacks are malicious attempts by cyber criminals. So they use email as their weapon of choice. These attacks can target anyone, individuals, businesses, even entire organizations. No one is immune. The goal of an email attack is usually one of the three things. First, to compromise your systems, meaning gain control of your computer or network. Second one is to steal sensitive information like passwords, credit card numbers, or personal data. The third point is to enable other cybercrimes like using your computer to send spams or launch further attacks. So attackers achieve these goals by exploiting vulnerabilities. So weaknesses in software or human behavior. So they often trick recipient into clicking malicious links, opening infected attachments, or revealing confidential information. So in the next slide, we'll discuss the different type of email attacks you might encounter. So now let's look at these specific threats you might encounter in your inbox. So this slide breaks down the most common type of email attacks from everyday nonsense of spams to the most dangerous threats like malware and phishing. So if we talk about the malware, malware is a malicious software designed to damage your computer or steal information. So it can be disguised as attachment or link in email. So when you talk about the phishing, phishing attempts to trick you into revealing personal information like passwords or credit card numbers. So they often mimic legitimate website or email. So when you talk about the next one, is spams. So spam is unsolicited, often annoying bulk email. So while sometimes just nonsense, so it can also carry malware or phishing attempts. So when you talk about scamming, scams to try defraud you, often by promising something or the nothing or asking for money upfront. The next point is the BEC, that's mean business email compromise. So big attacks target businesses aiming to steal money or sensitive data by impersonating executives and trusted partners. So when you talk about the second row, the first one is domain impersonations. So that is attackers fake an email address that looks very similar to legitimate one, hoping you won't notice the difference. Next one is brand impersonation attacks. So similar to domain impersonations, but they mimic well-known brands to trick you, like Microsoft or Apple, so likewise. The next point is extortion. So email extortion involves threats to release sensitive information or harm you unless you pay a ransom. The next one is conversations hijacking. So if you talk about the conversations hijacking, so attackers infiltrate an existing email conversations to spread malware or manipulate the participants. The finally, account takeover. So these conversations hijacking and account takeovers are most the dangerous email threats of such as email-borne threats. So if you talk about the account takeover, so this is where the hacker gain access to your email account and use it to send malicious email or stealing informations. So remember, so these threats are constantly evolving. So staying informed or cautious to your best defense. So in this slide, so we'll discuss in the evolutions of email attacks. So as an email become essentials, so have threats associated with it. So this slide so how email attacks have evolved over the time. So if you talk about the early days of email, that's mean between 80 to 19s. So these days it was mostly about spams, anonymous unsolicited messages, and phishing also started to emerge, tricking people into sharing informations. So if you talk about the 2000s, and so the rise of email-borne malware. So malicious software was spread through email attachments and infecting computers on a large scale. So if you talk about the next 20 to 2010s, and that's mean in this period, so actually the new threats like ransomwares and sophisticated phishing attacks became most common. So cyber criminals became more targeted and deceptive. So if you talk about the present day, and email threats are constantly evolving. So we see mix of everything from traditional scams to complex attacks like business email compromise. So if you talk about the future, actually today, so we are all deal with the cloud computing, the AIs, that's mean artificial intelligence, and so with this technology, looking ahead, we anticipate even more sophisticated attacks potential using AI to make them even more convincing and harder to detect. So we can expect see more AI powered email attacks that are highly personalized and difficult to detect. And also, so evolving social engineering also, attackers will continue to refine their social engineering tactics to manipulate human behavior and bypass security measures. And also, mobile devices will continue to the major target for email attacks. And so the next slide we talk about the impact of email based attacks. So actually, so email based attacks often in form of phishing scams can have significant negative impact to the businesses and peoples and all around the world. So the first thing is the data breaches. So the email attacks is as we explained, more than 90% of these data breaches, cyber attacks start with an email. So it's considerable high. The other thing is the financial loss for the organizations. So these email attacks and data breaches, can cause a financial loss, and that is one of the disruptive action. The other thing is the organizations' reputations can be damaged because when you have that email-based attacks, that mean might be your domain get blacklisted, might be your the IP addresses get blacklisted. So then actually you can't send email to the outside. So those are the things will cause as an impact of email-based attacks. The other thing is business disruptions. That mean so when you are on attacks, then so your totally the operations will be down. So might your email servers may be impacted and get malicious, and also your domains blacklisted. You can't send emails outside, and you can't receive internal emails. So those are the major impact of email based attacks. So hope you clear about. Thank you very much.